Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. Every patch, I like to make a guide focused on getting your feet off the ground upon reaching the max level 110. So, here's one for patch 7.3. This video will be aimed for those of you who just reached 110 on your very first character, and for those of you who are just looking to start another alt. If you already have a 110, there are some shortcuts you can take, so I'll try to cater this to both crowds. Just keep in mind though that I will be going over a lot of basic stuff. This video is aimed towards both crowds, but more so for the first time 110s since they of course need more help. So, you just hit level 110 and 100 different things flash on your screen. It can be a little overwhelming, so let's just take it one step at a time and approach it in an orderly fashion. The structure of this video will be listing the content you can do in the order that it was released, and at the end, I'll give you some advice on what to prioritize on your first few weeks upon hitting level 110. The good thing about patch 7.3 is that your artifact knowledge is all automated now. You don't have those work orders anymore, so it's much more simplified. You now get artifact knowledge levels once a week, and everyone, no matter when you start, will have the same knowledge level. Remember, you can check this by mousing over your artifact level number. Another change is that you now automatically get the third relic slot on your artifact weapon, so there's no need to speed through your Order Hall campaign quest. Although it does have some nice rewards still, so you may as well knock it out. It doesn't hurt. So, your first main objective upon hitting 110 is to unlock world quests. These are the replacement of daily quests for this expansion, and you want to unlock them as soon as possible because they give a lot of important things such as gear, Order Hall resources, artifact power, and more. If you already have a 110 and you just leveled another, these will automatically be unlocked upon hitting 110. But if it's your very first 110, you'll have to complete the Uniting the Isles quest to unlock them. To complete this, you need to reach the friendly reputation level with the 5 base factions of the Broken Isles: the Court of Ferrandis of Asuna, the High Mountain Tribe of High Mountain, the Dreamweavers of Val'Shara, the Valorjar of Stormheim, and the Nightfallen of Suramar. You should have those first 4 from leveling, as long as you're not skipping too many quests. If not, just head back to those zones and find some quests to complete until you reach friendly with the respective faction. For the Nightfallen, however, you have to unlock Suramar, which is a level 110 zone, so you haven't been able to access that yet, and therefore your rep is neutral. To unlock this zone, talk to Khadgar in the Violet Citadel and Dalaran and grab the Khadgar's Discovery quest, or its follow-up, Magic Message. This will send you on a short series of quests to unlock Suramar, and from there, you just keep doing the quests they give you to level up your rep to friendly. After doing so, complete the Uniting the Isles quest to finally unlock world quests. You'll notice a bunch of icons pop up on your map. I should note at this point, your screen may look different. That's because I'm using some add-ons that clean up the interface a bit. I highly recommend these, and when appropriate, I'll list the names in the upper left-hand corner, and I'll have links in the description if you'd like to download them. So, like I mentioned, these world quests award all sorts of things, but the most important ones for you initially are going to be the ones that award gear, artifact power, and Order Hall resources. You'll also get something called emissary quests on the bottom left-hand side of your map. These give you bonus caches for completing world quests located in certain zones. You get 1 a day, so you should be knocking these out daily. You'll also get 1 quest per week to kill a world boss selected randomly in any of the Broken Isle zones. These drop eye level 860 gear, which is a nice boost early on. Before you head out though, make sure you pick up a bonus roll token from the NPC Archmage Landlock at coordinates 5868 in Dalaran. Through your campaign quest, you should have been introduced to the Order Hall tree upgrades. Make sure you always have this upgrading, and at the same time, keep a good stock of Order resources from world quests so you can afford them. You'll also need these resources to run Order Hall missions, so you'll need quite a bit of these upon hitting 110. If you run low, you can trade Bloods of Sargeras for resources from the Ilnea Bloodthorn vendor at coordinates 4532 in Dalaran. These caches are also account bound, so if you have a main, that's a good way to stock up on your alt. So, as I said, Order Hall missions also require resources. You also want to be running these as much as possible as well because you can get some good rewards from them such as gold, gear, and more. If you already have a 110 character, a quick way to level up your followers is to stop by the Broken Shore and buy the gear tokens from the Nether Shard vendor there. These cost 400 Nether Shards each, and you can buy eye level 880 gear tokens for your followers, which is a huge boost, so make sure you pick some up. Before moving forward, you should also pick up some professions if you haven't already. Even if you don't want to go through the trouble, it's at least worth grabbing a gathering profession like herbalism, skinning, or mining. These will let you pick up some trade materials and you can sell them on the auction house for some gold. Another thing you'll want to work towards is unlocking flying in the Broken Isles so you can do all of this stuff faster. You do this by completing the Broken Isles Pathfinder Parts 1 and 2 achievements. These require things such as exploring every zone, completing all of the quests for each zone, completing world quests, and so on. Generally, it's stuff you'll get normally just by playing the game. For the sake of keeping the length of this video down though, since this is a whole other can of worms, if you get stuck on this, I'll have a link to a Wowhead guide in the description that covers all of it in detail. Part of unlocking it will require some Broken Shore stuff, so let's talk about that. This was the zone that was added in patch 7.2, and there's some special stuff in there. Upon unlocking world quests, you should have gotten a quest from Khadgar hollering at you to meet him at Crassus Landing in Dalaran. So, go ahead and turn that in and you'll get a follow-up quest where you have to do a short 20-minute-ish scenario to unlock the zone. Note that, if you already did this on your main character, you can skip it for your alts. Upon unlocking the zone, you'll be able to get some story quests and a bunch of world quests. They both award reputation, which you need to unlock flying, so you want to put a high priority on them. And since I'm talking about the Broken Shore already, I'll sort of explain how it works, but just keep in mind that the gear that you get from this is kind of minor compared to the next zone, Argos. And also dungeons, which I'll go over later. So, at this point, you might want to start that and come back to this Broken Shore stuff later. But like I said, since I started talking about it already, let's just cover that real quick before moving on. Through the story quests, you'll unlock the ability to contribute towards buildings in the Deliverance Point Hub. These give you special bonuses like artifact power, an extra world boss on the Broken Shore, refunds and bonus roll tokens, and more. To contribute, you need a special currency called Legionfall War Supplies. You get these from world quests in the Broken Shore, so you want to put them on high priority as well. The building process is shared for your region, and whenever a building is built, you should make sure that you talk to the NPC located next to the drafting table to get special buffs. There's also the Nether Shard vendor at 4462. She sells you some gear, but honestly, it's pretty low eye level, and gear-wise, you're better off just moving on to Argos or doing dungeons. So, now let's move on to the big 7.3 stuff. After unlocking the Broken Shore, you should receive yet another quest to travel to the new planet, Argos. This planet has 3 zones which you can unlock by progressing through the story. Here you can find more of the same, more story quests like I said, world quests, rares, and treasure chests. This is the highest level zone in the game currently, and it appropriately gives you the best rewards. The world quests give better gear, more artifact power, and order hall resources, so once you unlock it, you want to put a very high priority here. And just like how the Broken Shore had nether shards, Argos has Veiled Argonite. You can buy gear tokens using this currency, just like nether shards. Except these tokens have a whopping 910 eye level. You can find the vendor for this on the lower level of your Vindicar ship, which you unlock by landing on Argos. You get this Argonite from more of the same, world quests, order hall missions, rare elites, and treasures. The fastest ways to farm it are through the treasures and rares. I did actually make another video dedicated to farming these with optimized routes. I'll have a link to that at the end of this video and in the description, and just the routes themselves as well if you don't want to watch another video. So, this currency is really important for gearing out quick, and if you want to gear up as fast as possible, you should run these routes daily above all else. And for those of you gearing up in alt, you'll also be looting bind on account gear tokens from these rares. These are eye level 880, so make sure that you send them to your alt if you pick any up on your main. These are of course still useful for your first time 110s as well, although they're not too reliable because they don't drop off of every rare, and oftentimes you'll loot one for another armor type. Another source of Argonite is a weekly quest that requires 15 Argus Wastestones, which are tied to invasion points, so let's talk about those. After progressing far enough in the story, you'll notice some little green icons on your map called invasion points. These are short scenarios where you visit other worlds the Legion is invading, and if you successfully defend them, you'll get some rewards. They're separated into 2 categories, normal invasion points which take 3 to 10 players, and greater invasion points which require a full raid. The normal invasion points are free to enter, and you'll get Argus Waystones, Argonite, and Artifact Power. You can turn in 15 of these Waystones weekly for 200 Argonite to Illidan aboard the Vindicar. As for the graders, these are similar to the normal points, just on a larger scale pretty much. For these, you need to kill a boss that drops an eye level 930 piece of gear. And just like the other world bosses, you can do this once per week, and you'll want to use your group finder to find a raid to take them down. Make sure you also save a reroll token for these since 930 is quite high. So overall, the invasion points are pretty lucrative and you should go out of your way to do them if you see them active on your map. And lastly for Argus, we have the Netherlight Crucible. This is another progression system for your artifact. Now this isn't active as of the release of this video, but eventually you'll be able to unlock this through the story quests on Argus. It allows you to put points into a special talent tree for your artifact relics, and the amount of points you get is dependent on your artifact level. The higher you level that, the more points you get. So you'll want to unlock this as soon as you can, and definitely try to grab as much artifact power as you can when possible so you get more upgrade points. So aside from all of that, you have the conventional stuff as well, such as dungeons and raids. As of this video, the latest raid is the Tomb of Sargeras, which drops eye level 885 to 940 gear depending on what difficulty you're running. You have 4 difficulties, looking for raid, normal, heroic, and mythic. If you're a fresh 110, you'll definitely want to run the LFR weekly as a bare minimum. The eye level required to be able to queue for that is 860, which is definitely reachable within the first week of dinging 110. And if you can, you'll want to try to knock out the normal as well if you can get in a group. The previous raid, Nighthold, can also still hold some good items depending on your spec. The LFR for that unlocks at 835, and you should definitely try to do that on normal and heroic mode as well if you're geared enough. Typically, people are looking for around 900 eye level minimum for heroic, but it all depends on your server group and your luck. Once 7.3.5 hits, you'll have access to the next raid and Taurus the Burning Throne, so if you're watching this video at a later date, you of course want to head into there and get some gear. And dungeons are also really important. A new feature with Legion is Mythic Plus mode, which is basically a time trial of dungeons. You get a timer, and you try to run the dungeon as fast as you can. The better you do, the better rewards you get. You start this by doing a normal mythic dungeon and looting a mythic keystone at the end. This will be any dungeon in the game at random, and if you put it in the pedestal located near the entrance of the dungeon, you'll activate Mythic Plus mode. Upon completing it successfully, you'll get a higher level key of another random dungeon, and the higher levels you complete, the higher level rewards you get. In your order hall, you may have noticed a chest. Every Tuesday reset, this chest will have some loot for you to pick up if you did a Mythic Plus in the previous week. And to follow the scheme of things, it'll contain better gear in relation to the level of Mythic Plus that you ran that week. So overall, this is another great way to gear up. If you can, you want to knock out at least a 10 weekly. This makes it so that the weekly chest gives you the highest possible reward, which is currently an eye level 935 item minimum. Aside from all of that, I have just a couple more miscellaneous ways of gearing up that I want to mention. Every now and then, if you check your in-game calendar, you may notice a special event called Timewalking. This unlocks a new option in your group finder to queue for special dungeons, and the bosses there drop eye level 880 gear. And the best part is, you don't need a minimum eye level to queue, so those are really good for fresh 110s. And I recommend knocking them out if 880 gear is an upgrade for you. You'll also loot a currency called Time Warped Badges. You can spend these at special vendors to straight up buy 880 gear, which is also nice. They only appear when the event is active, and I'll have a link to the vendors in the description. And the last thing I wanted to mention is Obliterum. Buying gear is of course always an option as well, but something you should know is that there's an item called Obliterum. This upgrades any Legion crafted item up to an eye level of 900 max, so this is also an option, especially if you have one piece that you just haven't been able to find an upgrade for. There's also another item called Primal Obliterum that upgrades crafted pieces further to 935, but this only works with a small selection of items. I'll have a list of those items in the description, so make sure you check that before purchasing these. So that's quite the smorgasbord of things to do. To make things a little more simple, I made a weekly and daily checklist for you to follow once all of your stuff is unlocked. Feel free to copy this down if you want. For your weekly stuff, in order, you'll want to do your greater invasion point boss, whichever raids you need gear from, typically the Tomb of Sargeras, and the highest level Mythic Plus you can do, preferably 10. You also have the Broken Shore World Boss if the Nether Disruptor building is up, and lastly, the Broken Isles weekly World Boss. For daily stuff, you want to knock out your Argos World quests, the rares and treasure routes that I gave you earlier, emissary quests, and general non-Argos world quests that interest you. It's really a case-by-case basis if you're still getting gear upgrades from those, how much Order Hall resources you need, and how much you care about artifact power, and etc. And for the ongoing stuff in no particular order, you want to do the Order Hall upgrade tier, Order Hall missions, work towards unlocking flying if you don't have that, and the last thing you should do that I wanted to mention is to have fun. I know at this point you're probably thinking this is way too much to do, and honestly, it is. That's the nature with MMOs though. You're bombarded with so much stuff to do, and it'll be up to you to pick and choose what you think you'll have the most fun doing. And keep in mind that you don't need to do all of it. I'll tell you right now that I don't do a lot of daily stuff. As far as gearing up is concerned though, I think if you follow the general gist of this guide and those priority lists, you'll be in good shape. If you have any extra questions that I didn't answer, feel free to let me know and I'll try to answer them if I see them. I hope you found this video helpful, like it if you liked it, and thanks for watching. Peace.